a yet undisclosed price. We're thinking somewhere less than $1 million. So when the price is right, Carl will sell his runners. I guess they're thinking maybe Heartswideopen could pick up $1 million there, then maybe $1 million or so on down the line. $2 million could be chump change at this point. Back to you guys in a second.
Carl also like to tell you that all of his clients, he wants to pick out the horses. He wants to go to the sales and help make those decisions. There's one advisors on that. He wants some of that the recent sale here over the weekend. The one strong hope draws the rail in here is definitely a groovy horse. Should also be noted, although it's not listed in the program, is listed here in our strong hope. The Lord of Boogie Holder. Explain that, Jerry.
Well, Boogie Holder just keeps the horses' nose in the D of the game. We've seen horses rear up in the starting gate. It's just to keep them from doing anything crazy in there, perhaps missing the start. And what it is a little ring that attaches to the front of the gate and that goes through the gate. Makes it safer for the horse to jockey in the handlers in there.
Strong hope currently on the board at odds of 13 to 1. Last time out on trial day, drew far outside. Obviously, gets the rail here today. What impressed you about his performance on trial day?
Well, what's the right there? Strong hope is going to go out probably about 6 lanes at the start. I mean, you're going to lose some valuable ground if you break out that severely. I think it's really been a blessing that Strong's to go here. That is not going to happen for Strong on the outside. They overcome that start and really takes it in here in the last maybe 100 yards of this race. Very impressive.
Yeah, they were very impressed. And I can tell you this, he happens to knock out like that at the start, being on the inside. He's going to cause some problems for his horse, where the horse just goes outside and going to get an overthing down. But I wouldn't look for that to happen. That's exactly what I was talking about. The Heartswideopen being on the outside, because you do not have to deal with it. They got out at the start.
The 7 Wild 6 continues to be our second choice at 2 to 1. And Gary, as we talked about with the post position draw, the connections of Heartswideopen one to go right next to Wild 6. What do you think about the two favorites being next to each other?
I think that it's the best thing that you can have. No matter if you're quarter horse racing, thoroughbred racing, you want to be right next to your competition. What can happen if they were drawn apart from each other? Let's say Wild 6 gets a great start and Heartswideopen would have been drawn down on the inside. They tend to race with the competition nearest to them. So with them being right next to each other, they're going to force each other to their fullest extent. We should see great performance from both of them.
And part of the ownership of Wild 6, Mr. Miner is here from St. John's, Arizona. Herman Miner here to watch Wild 6, looking out on the track as the warm-ups continue here. We're now just 6 minutes away from the 2007 All American. If you're having a gamble on this race, which you should be, by the way, because it's obviously a great betting race, you can 5 to 2 on an undefeated horse here, Dave.
By the way, Herman's a retired judge. This horse costs only $32,000 at sale. And when he was asked, why did you pick this horse out for the sale, he said, the same reason I picked my wife out. You see her and you just fall in love. And he just fell in love with this horse, and isn't it a good thing? 6 for 6, undefeated. For instance, the Throne's Courage cost Captain Courage cost $415,000 at last year's Ruidoso sale. Cost $60,000, and of course we just talked about Wild 6, $32,000. So there are some bargains to be found, but the 6th Captain Courage actually was the sale topper at $415,000.
There's some bargains to be made, but even with quarter horses, $32,000, that's an expensive quarter horse because they really don't get the opportunity to run for these kind of prize money. I mean, one time a year in the All American futurity, and the chances of making it. So that's still a pretty healthy investment in my eyes. So the $400 and some thousand spent, that's like spending the $4.1 million for the yearling ladder, or the 2-year-old this year in thoroughbred.
The 2 Grateful Heart is an attractive price at 9 to 1. What about that layoff off from April to August before trial day? Wouldn't it stand to reason this horse is going to move forward now?
100%. I mean, this horse has more right to improve than anybody else. Not only was it a 4-month layoff, but he only had 1 start before that. So he's just 2 for 2 lifetime. Some of the other horses in this field have started as many as 6 times. So Grateful Heart could absolutely move forward here.
The 5 Corona's Fast Dash continues to be our third choice in the wagering here at 5 to 1. And we heard the story of Bobby Cox out of Fort Worth, Texas, the owner of Corona's Fast Dash, and former owner of Schlotsky's, now on the board there advising them. And right now, Corona's Fast Dash, how does this one look on the racetrack?
He looked unbelievable, not only on the racetrack, but in the paddock. He's dappled out, holding his weight good, and you can see him out there on the racetrack right now. Very relaxed, very focused.
Much like Bobby Cox, focused, but yet seems very relaxed as he looks out at Corona's fast dash. And he's got to like his chances in here, Ben.
Hopefully he's made his way back to his lucky spot where he was watching the Derby from yesterday, because that certainly worked. And, I'm not sure if he likes his chances or not. I'm sure anybody would love to own a horse, but when you look at the horses that they drew in against, Wild 6 and Heartswideopen, maybe it was just a bad year to get a horse into the All American futurity.
We heard from the owners earlier on talking about. A lot of them actually feel like they're running for third money here. But in horse racing, especially quarter horse racing, anything can happen, and especially at the start.
Owner Bobby Cox and trainer John Buchanan should know that you can conquer the unconquerable. They did that in the American Derby yesterday in separate bet. Looked unbeatable. 3 minutes now until the 2007 All American Futurity. We'll be back. Let's return to Del Mar.
Water runners in the winner's circle after winning the Windy Sands handicap.
Big one, $2 million off.
They hit the board once during that 6 race. Since back in May of 06, that was the Grade 3 Lone Star Derby. So the 16-month drought, wire to wire, he crushed at 8-1, 18-20. After the All-American Futurity, it will be pick 6 time here at Del Mar. Race number 5 begins our pick 6 in just 18 minutes. And we start with a $50,000 claim event for 3-year-old fillies to go a mile and 16th on the turf.
All the early money on Miss Josie Wales. She's 65. She ran second to Honor Gold in her last start. Honor Gold came back here at a nice one, Corey Nakatani aboard here at Del Mar on Friday. Running against Madden and Temperance, 2 starts back. Temperance had a nice one yesterday here at Del Mar, so she's facing some good company. 6-5, and she might be a little bit closer today. The price right now is the 2 ready-made off the 7-2 morning lines, 12-1.
$250,000 in the carryover. Pick 6 tickets available at tvg.com from our analysts, and also all your wagering needs can be taken care of at tvg.com for those of you that want to bet Pick 6 at Del Mar or the All-American Futurity at Ruidoso as we head back to New Mexico. Top.
The field is approaching the starting gate for the 2007 All-American Futurity. It's all about dreams and the connections of the 4 SF Royal Bank. Certainly have dreams here. The 8 Heartswideopen. Everyone expects this dream to be realized right now to even money.
Well, let's not forget that there's a $4 million bonus here at Ruidoso if you sweep the Ruidoso Futurity, the Rainbow Futurity, and the All-American. The only horse that had an opportunity to do that this year was the 8 Heartswideopen, who won the Ruidoso. And Carl Draper said, I'm not going for the bonus. He took the time off to skip the Rainbow to come back and have this one ready to go in the All-American. And boy, has it ever worked out. But you look back years ago to horses like Zit First, who were phenomenal early on in the year, and they never really made it all the way that far. I think Carl Draper made a very wise move.
I think so too, and he shows the patience that a wise trainer would do. A lot of people would have just been chasing the money of the $4 million bonus, knowing that they actually had an opportunity to do it. But he's looking out for this filly's best interest, and he's the guy that's going to call the shots.
For the thoroughbred to be akin to winning the Kentucky Derby and then skipping the Preakness. Here's the 4 SF Royal Bank, an 18-1 long shot in here, and was 4th far back behind Heartswideopen.
By the way, I mentioned the other 2 All-American Futurity winners by Paul Jones were shorter odds than SF Royal Bank, and that really wasn't the case. No Secrets here was somewhere around 4-1 last year, but 2 years ago, Teller Cartel won at about 18-1, so you just never know.
There was owner Salom Gallegos of SF Royal Bank, and it has been a great run, Gary, for Paul Jones.
He really has, and one thing about Paul that we've seen over the years is he comes up to these big events, he's always got his horses ready, and they seem to improve. He doesn't necessarily have to have the fastest qualifier, as in last year he didn't, and then leads over a winner. So, these horses are going to improve, and Paul's always got them ready for the finals.
Libby's Feature will get to the gate as the longest shot in the 2007 All-American at 23-1. And Juan and Melba de la Certa out of Roosevelt, Texas are here to watch them load, and they are moving into line. Strong Hope moves in. Strong Hope with the rail and the flipping halter. And then towards the outside, Wild 6 and Heartswideopen, the 2 fillies The heavy favorites line up next to each other. You could not ask for a better situation. Running up to your biggest rival in the race. Will it be one of the two fillies, or will it be an upset to remember? Gary, I'm looking at some of these jockeys, almost as we like to say, getting tied on. What are they looking for here?
Just a nice, clean break. They want their horses on their feet right now. Don't want them stumbling away from there and looking straight down the racetrack with their nose in the V.
Wild 6 about to move forward. She's in line. And now the fastest qualifier coming into the 2007 All-American. Hearts wide open. Let's go up for the call. Robert Fox, the 2007 All-American Futurity on TVG.
Big one, $2 million All-American Futurity. They're running in the All-American Futurity. A beautiful, great mile, clean. Hearts wide open immediately. Ducks to the outside fence. Wild 6 gonna try to go with her. SF Royal Bank is running a big one. And Captain Courage. Captain Courage, SF Royal Bank along the inside. Grateful Heart, Hearts wide open to the outside. Wild 6 is defeated. Hearts wide open. Hearts wide open. Wins the All-American Futurity.
Girl power on display in the 2007 All-American. Hearts wide open with an impossible trip. Somehow gets up to catch what looked like a major upset in the making.
I think it might have been the other way around. She was actually out there. Even though she had drifted out, she was in front trying to hold off for SF Royal Bank. And it was a wide start to the Hearts wide open, but she did come out explosively.
Yeah, she came out explosively, but she lost, in my eyes, at least a length and a half right here. She might be in front right now. It's tough to see at that angle and with the depth, but starts to drift back down, so losing some more ground here. And I think this exceptional performance. She overcame a lot to get up and win in the last stride.
And let's watch the head-on out of the gate, and this is where you get a real perspective of just how far out there Hearts wide open was. In the call, they called her out on the fence.
Right, you can see the 9 and 10 were in the race. She was probably at about the 15th half of there was one.
That's exactly right, and that's one reason that you want a horse drawn on the outside of you. And she drifted out, and then you see her jock on the left hand right here. She's actually drifting back in towards her competition, sees her competition, does enough in the last 3 or 4 strides to hang on for it, get off.
Let's take an isolated look at your eventual winner here, the 8 Hearts wide open. And Gary, what was Oscar Hernandez doing from the break? And then when does he decide late in the race to get her down a little bit more towards the middle of the track?
Well, it's the most difficult thing, breaking with these quarter horses, because they are so quick leaving there. The ground can break out underneath them, so it's a fine line. You don't want to break on a horse's mouth, but you want to give them their freedom. But if they stumble, you've got to be able to pick them up quickly. They're going to break right now, and you see her duck out right here, and he taps her on the shoulder. And right now, he's getting her collected, but she's running out pretty hard right now. And he straightens her up right now, goes to the right-handed whip, and back to the left-handed. And with these quarter horses, it's very, very important to stay busy on right-handed, left-handed. You need to be able to switch your sticks very quickly, which you saw Oscar do right there, and a great ride from him.
8, 4, 6, 2. Your unofficial order of finish here. The winner on and forward by your second place finish. Won an effort by SF Royal Bank. Here at 20-1. Paul Jones with the reach with 3 All-Americans in a row. It's not to be here today. Instead, today we'll watch the track Paul Draper and the owner, Javier Rodriguez of Hearts wide open out of North Las Vegas. All-American. Chris Cotillo after that. Happy honor.
Javier Rodriguez. I mean, this is the time you've been everybody will organize this racing.
This is the first time we've been in the race. We've been match racing, and we always had good luck, and we wanted to try to the United States. And we did good.
It took you about 21 seconds. You're a millionaire now. Yeah, there were all these friends. You said, hey, this is Noah. I don't see my little chair. I love it. All right, I think we're going to push our shit. I think we're going to push our shit. Draper is here somewhere. I don't know.
Lalaki pada lagi.
Well, Chris delivers hugs. Let's take a look at how close it was. A photo finish to decide the 2007 All-American. We'll take a look at our camera view right on the wire, and you'll see how close SF Royal Bank came to pulling off the shocker.
How close to the 9 inches is fine, but there you can see the nose on the inside of the 4. SF Royal Bank. Hearts wide open. Barely finding out. Still
prices are now in.
By the way, if you're one of the lucky patrons to get one of those spots in the rail, get a little more of a market from Hero right up close in that early part of the race. The mark's wide open as well on that outside market.
And Heartswideopen, like I said, great performance by her. When she got that mark, couldn't see her competition. Once she drifted back in towards the middle of the racetrack, observing and carried on the right way.
And Dave, it seems like it's limitless, the number of people that can come to the winner's circle each year after the All American.
Back down there. Don't wait for these people to get settled in. The horse is not even in that area yet. Since he's gone back to the race. Flowers straight on her. Special moment for rider Oscar Hernandez. You did the winning move with bringing her back towards the field so she can see her competition.
Well, I don't know if she was open on the outside, and that's why I brought her back down. But the fastest way to the finish line with a quarter horse is to stay straight. And she was kind of all over the racetrack, drifting out and then drifting back in. I actually think that she lost some ground when she drifted back in, but it might have been enough to refocus her and make that final surge to get up and win.
Dave, if somebody told you Heartswideopen was going to win the All American with a superfecta and pay $6,000, would you believe that?
No, I don't. Only name horse field too. It's not like the same horse field. Fantastic super factory out there.
Well, owner Javier Rodriguez, you saw him in the winner's circle, but what about trainer Carl Draper watching the race? What was his reaction? I didn't miss the ball. Does he know?
He looks like a man.
I was like, I don't know if
He's got some high fives, he knew it.
There he is. Now you're going to see the congratulations. The sign was even posted.
Hey, he's seen so many tight finishes. I'll bet you he could hit about 10 out of 10 closer than that one was. There was no doubt in his mind either.
Carl said, as great as a day it is, I'm looking forward to just being back at my barn in the morning and thinking about going to Zia Park after this, but now he can think about winning yet another All-American futurity.